Usually if my life is missing any excitement, I just drink a bunch of Red Bull and work on my bonsai trees. But with an acoustic guitar, it can be just as exciting, and today we're going to talk about how we can take some basic guitar strumming and then add some excitement to it. Rocking the Framus FG-14 today, and when I think of excitement musically, I usually think of like a full band and how like a drummer with a good band around that drummer just sounds absolutely fantastic. So I think a good way to think about maybe playing a solo acoustic or an accompanying acoustic part is to kind of take the mind of just a drum beat. And now the most classic drum beat ever is just like broken into 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The hi-hat is going to be on every one of those beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick is on the 1, snare is on the 3. Kick, 2, snare, 4. Kick, 2, snare, 4. The first variation is going to be the second every other time around. Kick on the 1 and 2. You've heard this beat a million different times. Great drummers can kind of really artfully dance around this beat, but we're going to incorporate all of that into acoustic guitar strumming. So I'm going to start with just a C major chord. Alright, so my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the low E string, my pinky's on the 3rd fret of the A string, my middle finger's on the 2nd fret of the D string, open G, pointer finger 1st fret of the B string, open E. So we're getting an extra, it's not just your basic C major chord, we're getting that low G in there too, okay? Because I want to really take every piece of this string set, all 6 strings, and kind of have each of them play a little bit of a role, okay? So the first thing that you might think of, like, all right, how am I going to turn that drum beat into a guitar strumming pattern? Is just breaking down into quarter notes. I live my life a quarter note at a time. I'm like the Dominic Toretto of guitar right now. So if we think of what's the lowest thing that we can do in this chord on the 1 to replace like a kick drum on drum kit, is just hitting the low part of the string set. So I'm just going to aim for the E and the A string, okay? Now whatever chord you end up playing, maybe just end for the lower part of that, you're just aiming and we're trying to get just a different sound out of the guitar. So for the 1, the downbeat, I'm going the low part of the string set, okay? So for the 2, whatever on the drum kit, the 2 is just hitting the hi-hat. So I'm just going to actually aim for maybe like the middle part of the string set. I'm going to aim for the D and G string. If I hit more than that, if I hit less than that, that's cool. I've just got 1, 2, and then for the 3, that high-end snare hit on the 3, I'm going to get the high end of the guitar. 3. So really, I'm just kind of maybe aiming for the highest 3 strings for the 3, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4, I'm actually going to mute the 4 count, that quarter note, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, all right? Now the way I'm doing it is I'm kind of releasing the pressure of my left hand, so I can do that. But when you have open strings involved, you might still get that sound. So I'm kind of just coming down with my palm and striking it and kind of choking it off right there at the very end, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, that doesn't really sound very exciting in and of itself. So we're going to add upstrokes on the and of each of those. So eventually it's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So I'm still focusing on those main quarter notes as far as like what I'm considering, you know, the money shots of this strumming exercise. But in between those, I'm going to come back up because whenever you go down, unless you're windmilling it, you got to come back up, right? I'm going to do generally about the same area of the string set that I'm getting here with the pick or with your hands, however you're playing this, okay? So 1 and, that's like a down up, but a controlled down up, not a campfire cowboy down up. Controlled, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I'm making my way through the entire string set. And then now to kind of add a little bit of extra, that snare hit on the 3. Because when you're playing that 3 count on an acoustic guitar, I feel like that's the beat that's going to propel you into the next bar. So I think that's of like real paramount importance here. So after that 3 count, I'm just going to mute the and of 3, the 4, and the and of 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if I just muted everything, you kind of hear a low, high, kick, 2, 3, 4, kick, 2, snare, 4. We're kind of just trying to emulate a drum kit. And now you can go beyond this, just this basic beat. And if you can count any kind of drum rhythm, or really anything that you can hear, try to use some of these techniques to accent certain beats. Again, really we're worried about that 3 right now because I think, like I said, that really propels you into the next bar of that. I'm just getting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, so this is one bar, okay? Now, I said before, very traditional drum groove would be kick on the 1, snare on the 3, the next time kick, kick, snare. 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, kick, snare, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, kick, snare, 4. So if we do that, we're just going to kind of keep that same low end in the 1 and the 2 of the second bar. So the second bar would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So the first bar is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe like an F chord. You'll notice that even on the 3 sometimes, I'm not getting like a full, there's really not a lot of sustain on that 3 in the way I'm just doing this. I'm just kind of really just using that as getting the hardest strum I'm actually going to do is going to be on that 3, whether it's muted, whether it's sustained, and then kind of taking the mute after that. Again, we're all about that 3, really focusing in on that quarter note to really hit that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay, so you always have that. You'll always know where that snare is. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And you notice when I'm just muting, I'm just holding the strings and kind of doing that pattern. The steadiness is something that's really going to keep you on time too, and then open up like just a whole world of, you know, how you want to dynamically accent certain beats in account, etc. Okay, so you know those are just open chords. Let's do something with like a closed voice real quick. Maybe I'll just do like a D minor 7 to A minor 9 to kind of do the same thing with like closed voicing. So D minor 7, 5A, ring finger, 7D. We're gonna bar the 5th fret, so I'm getting 5G and then 6B. You can do the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 then I'll go to this one right here. Middle finger 5E, ring finger 5D, pinky 5G, pointer finger 3B. And if you want to add like hammer-ons and stuff, but you can definitely hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think when you start playing, thinking of a steady strumming hand, I think that you'll notice it gets a little bit easier to stay in time. Also, too, practice with the metronome, practice with the backing track also helps a lot. So, you know, just kind of a few thoughts that I had on trying to incorporate some of the more exciting components of music into just solo acoustic guitar strumming. Because, like I said, every quarter beat you have is an opportunity to do something different instead of just, you know, doesn't matter what kind of chords you play. If you're playing it that kind of even dynamic, you know, it just doesn't seem very exciting to me. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with playing like that if that's what you're going for. This is just if you want to maybe spice things up a little bit. And I think that's a good way to start thinking about how to do it because really the backbone of all exciting music to me comes from percussion drums in a lot of instances. And it's something that a lot of people don't even think about maybe transferring over to acoustic guitar. So hopefully that made sense to you. If you guys have any questions or comments, in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.